So, now I've been called out in the shooting order as being the on-deck shooter, which means I am next up. What I want to do is get up to the stage and be ready, but I need to maintain the general gun handling etiquette and safety. So, here's how it's going to go. I can carry this thing around with me anywhere I want as long as it's like this. Vertical, empty. So, they call out, Brian Nelson is on deck. I'm going to go up to the start position for the stage. And I'm going to wait just like this until the range officer tells me to make ready. Until the range officer says make ready, I'm just going to be waiting here. I may walk the stage as long as this rifle is vertical, muzzle up or muzzle down, and empty. Once the range officer tells me to make ready, that's my cue. I can make the rifle ready. Do whatever the start position is for the stage. Make it ready, safe it, and we'll say that the start position is a muzzle up, port arms type start. This is good to go. Once the RO sees that I am in the start position, he's going to ask, are you ready? I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is say yes or nothing. They'll start you if you do nothing. Are you ready? Then he's going to say stand by, and then you're going to get a beep. That beep is the shot timer going off. That's your start signal. Now, safety rules once the stage starts. Generally, point guns downrange and not at yourself or anyone else. The rule that we use to make sure that you don't point a gun uprange at people that are surrounding you is what's called the 180-degree rule. What that means is, if I'm pointing at the exact center of the backstop, I have 90 degrees to the right, 90 degrees to the left that I can point the gun and still be okay. If I break that 100-degree plane of uprange, then you're gonna get talked to. This could be anything depending on how bad it is. It could be a warning, it could be a procedural penalty, it could get you disqualified for safety. We try to be reasonable about assessing this penalty based on what's happening, but we want to avoid guns being pointed at people. So that's the major 180-degree rule concern. You are, cool thing, gonna be running around with a gun. So a good way to maintain safety while you're running with a gun is just be cognizant of the muzzle direction, especially when you're going against the grain. So, I'm a right-handed shooter. If I'm shooting and moving, it's easy for me to go left to right because the gun automatically wants to go across my chest. If I have to go from right to left, what I have to do is just make sure that in some way I'm keeping the gun pointed downrange. I can break it off my shoulder and one-hand it, or I can grab it at the center of gravity and become left-handed temporarily. These are both two good ways to make sure I'm keeping a safe muzzle direction as I'm moving laterally. We try to limit the amount of against the grain movement you have to do. We try to keep it always going straight down range with course design, but sometimes things happen. Sometimes we don't design it into the stage, but you forget something and you need to back up. Backing up with this rifle, same thing. I want to keep it down range, so if I pivot and turn to my right, it's kind of easy, I just do this. If I go the other direction, if I need to go backwards that way, what I'm going to do is, again, temporarily become left-handed. I'm going to make sure I'm going over or under the gun as I move this arm to make sure I don't get in front of the muzzle. Now, at the end of the stage, I'm done, or at least I think I'm done. The RO is going to look at you. He's just going to ask, if you are finished, unload and show clear. What this is doing is making sure that you get this gun back into an unloaded state so that you can walk around and transport it, and we know it's unloaded. So, if you're finished, unload and show clear. I'm going to remove the source of ammunition first. So, magazine goes out. I'm going to wrap the round out. And the RO is going to look, you're going to look and say, yes, that is an empty gun, that is clear. He's going to go, if clear, hammer down. That's your cue to dry fire it. Now, we're pulling the trigger on the gun, so we should be deliberate about where we point it. I just make sure it's pointed safely at a berm. Click. After that, if I want to insert a chamber flag, if I want to lock it to the rear, that's all fine. And then the RO's last command is going to be, make it vertical. He's going to say the range is clear. Now you can put your gun away, you can check your targets, you can start reloading magazines, whatever you want to do. But that's what's going to happen at the end of a stage.